After tomorrow, you're just the surrogate. Don't expect to act like a grandmother in public. It confuses people. Those were the exact words my daughter-in-law whispered to me the night before the grand welcome home ceremony for the baby I had carried for 9 months. I stayed home the next day, heartbroken and exhausted. But by afternoon, the entire celebration had completely fallen apart, and the reason why left everyone stunned. For years, I had dreamed of becoming a grandmother. After raising my son, Ethan, alone for 28 years, watching him build a successful career as an engineer, I thought this would be my reward. A beautiful new chapter filled with tiny hands and family milestones. But life had other plans. When Ethan and his wife, Sophia, struggled with infertility for over 4 years, my heart broke for them. Treatments failed, hopes were dashed, and the bills piled up. One evening, after watching Sophia cry in my kitchen, I made the decision that changed everything. I offered to be their surrogate. At 51 years old, I went through hormone treatments, invasive procedures, and carried their baby despite the risks to my own health. I developed gestational diabetes. I was put on bed rest for weeks. I took an unpaid leave from my job as a teacher, watching my savings disappear while I protected the little life growing inside me. Every kick, every ultrasound, every painful injection. I endured it all with love, telling myself this child would be worth every sacrifice. The pregnancy was difficult, but the birth of little Amelia was magical. Holding her in my arms that first time, even knowing she wasn't biologically mine, filled me with a joy I hadn't felt since Ethan was born. I thought this would bring us closer as a family. I was wrong. Sophia had always been polite in front of Ethan, but over the months of my pregnancy, her mask began to slip. She complained about my hovering, criticized the nursery items I bought, and once even told a friend on the phone that I was acting too much like I was the real mother. I brushed it off as pregnancy stress. I told myself she was just overwhelmed. The night before the big celebration, a lavish event they called their real wedding, since they had eloped quietly during my pregnancy, I stopped by their house with a handmade quilt I'd spent weeks sewing. Each square held a photo or memory: my ultrasound pictures, Ethan's baby photos, even a lock of my hair sewn discreetly into one corner as a family keepsake. Sophia met me at the door, perfectly made up as always. She didn't invite me in. Instead, she stepped outside, closed the door behind her, and leaned in close. "After tomorrow," she whispered, her voice ice cold, "you're just the surrogate. Don't expect to act like a grandmother in public. It confuses people. Amelia needs to know who her real parents are. You've done your part. Now step back." I stood there frozen, the quilt still warm in my hands from the drive over. "Sophia, I carried her for you. I almost lost my health for this family." She gave me a tight, pitying smile. "Exactly. You carried her, but she's not yours. Ethan and I are starting our perfect life now. We don't need you turning every family photo into a sob story about your sacrifices. Stay home tomorrow. Spare us all the awkwardness." Her words sliced deeper than any labor pain. I wanted to scream, to remind her of the nights I vomited from medication, the diabetes that might stay with me forever, the dreams I had put on hold. Instead, I nodded numbly, turned around, and drove home with tears blurring the road. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the spare crib I had bought, just in case. I got to babysit. My body still ached from the delivery. My blood sugar was unstable. And now this. I was being erased from the very child I had brought into the world. I whispered to the empty room, "If I'm just the surrogate, then I won't be there to pretend I'm anything more. The next morning, I stayed home. My phone exploded with messages from relatives asking where I was. Ethan called twice, sounding worried. Mom, Sophia said you weren't feeling well again. Are you okay? Everyone's waiting? I didn't reply. I couldn't face sitting in the back row like some distant acquaintance while they paraded Amelia around as their perfect miracle baby. By noon, the first frantic call came from my sister. Margaret, you need to hear this. The celebration, it's falling apart. My heart raced. What happened? She took a shaky breath. Someone leaked the DNA results. Amelia, she's not Sophia's biological child. The room spun. What? It turns out Ethan had a brief affair with his coworker 2 years ago. The baby is biologically his, but the egg was from that woman, not Sophia. Sophia knew. She switched the embryos or paid someone to falsify the records. The whole surrogacy was a cover, so no one would question why the baby didn't look like her. The truth spilled out in pieces over the next hour. A drunk bridesmaid had blurted out details in the bathroom. Then the lab technician who had processed the tests showed up at the venue, furious that Sophia had tried to bribe him to keep quiet. Guests were showing each other screenshots. Sophia's perfect narrative. The loving couple who overcame infertility together was crumbling in real time. Ethan was devastated. He had no idea about the affair baby or Sophia's deception. She had convinced him to use me as surrogate to hide the fact that she couldn't, or wouldn't, carry a child herself while maintaining the image of a flawless family. Sophia tried desperately to shift the blame. She told everyone that I had been obsessed with the baby, that I must have tampered with the results out of jealousy, that my absence proved I was trying to sabotage their happiness. She even posted on social media with a crying selfie. Some people can't accept their role and want to destroy what they helped create. For a few hours, the narrative started working. Some guests whispered that I was a bitter surrogate who couldn't let go. But the evidence was too strong. The leaked emails, the payment records to the fertility clinic, the DNA proof. By evening, Ethan showed up at my door, holding Amelia in his arms. His eyes were red and swollen. Mom, I'm so sorry. I should have seen it. She used you. She used all of us. He told me how Sophia had planned to gradually push me out. Limited visits, no photos with me, no calling me grandma in public. The welcome home ceremony was supposed to solidify their image as the ideal modern family, with me conveniently erased. I took Amelia gently, feeling her tiny warmth against my chest. The same chest that had protected her for 9 months. In the weeks that followed, Sophia's carefully built image collapsed further. The affair partner came forward. More financial records showed Sophia had been siphoning money from their joint accounts to maintain her lifestyle, while Ethan worked long hours. The infertility struggles? Mostly exaggerated for sympathy and social media likes. Ethan filed for divorce and full custody. He told the court how Sophia had exploited both his mother and their marriage for appearances and control. Today, I'm slowly recovering my health. Ethan and Amelia live closer to me now. He calls me every day, and Amelia's first word was Nana, said while reaching for me. Sophia still tries to spin the story on social media, playing the victim of a meddling surrogate. But fewer people believe her now. The truth has a way of spreading, especially when DNA doesn't lie. I carried that baby with love, thinking I was helping my son build his family. Instead, I helped him escape a toxic one. And in the end, the woman who told me I was just the surrogate lost everything she tried to control. Because blood isn't always thicker than love. Sometimes it's the sacrifices we make that truly bind a family together. Real family isn't created by contracts or carefully staged photos. It's built on quiet sacrifices, unwavering love, and a mother's strength that no one can erase. And in the end, the person who tried to push me out of the picture is the one who ended up on the outside. If you enjoyed this story of sacrifice, betrayal, and a mother's quiet strength, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next emotional story like this. Drop a comment below. Have you or someone you know ever been told you were just something after giving everything? I read every comment. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next story.